We are live. This is the Heart Now Here Spurs Fans podcast for all you Spurs fans near and far around the world. The famous four are all back together, although it's not been a weekend that we'll want to remember. Maybe for TJ, because I know last week we said that he'll be at the Spurs on a nice family trip. We'll get to that. It's myself, Lee Terrier, Matty Kurz here, Kevin Dennis, and as we said, TJ. How you doing, lads? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, mate.
We are really good, mate. We are on all platforms, as we always say. We are on your podcast formats. We're on Spotify, we're on Google, we're on Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to us, thank you for tuning in. We are also live Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you are socially, we are there.
We ain't mucking about anymore, lads. We ain't mucking about.
We're everywhere, aren't we? We're going global. Buy, sell. Taking it worldwide. But I mean, to be honest, guys, it's great to be back together, all four of us, but it ain't great in terms of the performance. Well, I'm not actually. That's really wrong of me. The scoreline. I personally felt the performance was all right, but I will put I'll put the agenda to the floor. I'm going to start with you, TJ, because we know you were going. You was a nice day out with the missus and the parents. How was your day? How did it all go from pre-match to the match, post-match?
Yeah, it was mate. It was I've got some stories about Saturday, by the way. But yeah, it was a good day out. Like, it was good to get the missus out. Like, she ain't been for a while. My mum's actually never been to the Spurs stadium, so obviously, like, my dad and my mum come. And yeah, it was a nice day out. And then dry Jan lasted about fucking 3 days or whatever it was, because Spurs, lo and behold, done what they done. So I was straight on the Guinness. But no, listen, it's like you said already, Lee. It's one of them things. Like, I don't know, at the moment, going down there at the moment is just a bit tough. I think, and you can feel that in the crowd. Like, I mean, listen, the seat I go to, obviously, I've cut back a little bit this year because of the boys, but even none of the regulars are sitting around me. Like, I look around and there's no regulars there.
Really?
Like, so all the boys that I've been like sitting next to for the past 6 years, however long it's been since we moved in the stadium, I'm sitting there thinking, where are they all? It's like there's no one there. Like, one guy who I recognised was there, but yeah, there's no I feel like everyone's in the same sort of boat, and you kind of feel that atmosphere. It just feels a bit subdued even before kickoff. There's no real like hype. The singing's kind of died down.
Where was you before kickoff? Did you go in your pubs or?
Before kickoff, yeah. So we so the trains were a bit of a mess, but it kind of helped me out because it came straight into White Lane. I normally go on the other side to Northumberland Park, but I went White Lane, and then we had a few in the coach first. Saw
the atmosphere there. Was that all right, or was the atmosphere nice there? You know,
again, do you know what it is? I think a lot of people just passed this one. I think Spurs have had a bit of a fuck up because they put Newcastle as a Category A, which Kev's loving because I bought his tickets. Money. Yeah, they put. That's where you got that replica shirt from. He fucking laid it all out on that. No, but, yeah, and I think a lot of people just went, do you know what? It's like anywhere between like 70 to 100 and something quid for that game. Like, cheapest tickets are like 75 quid. So I think a lot of people went, do you know what? That's one I could have back. Like, it's January the 4th. You know, I feel a lot of people just passed it. I think a lot of people just thought, you know what, I don't fancy it. So it was actually really quiet in the pubs beforehand. Like, it didn't really get that busy. Early kickoff as well. So, you know, you don't really have the big, like, long drinking session beforehand. But listen, it was all right. Like I said, I walked in there. Tina, she was busy working. She actually working behind the bar for a change, so they're sitting next to it. And then she come over to me. She went, "Well, don't say hello no more," and all this. And he started having a laugh with all the barmaid and that. And yeah, listen, it was a good day. Like, it was a good day, but it just felt like you just felt like it was coming. You know, even though the performance, like, you see the team sheet. And you start looking at the players and you're thinking, you know, we're just making up the numbers at the moment, like as many as we can get on the pitch. That's all we're doing at the moment. I mean, Brandon Austin, fair play to him. I thought he'd done a good job in goal, and I'm sure we'll get onto the players individually soon. But yeah, it was a good day, but I don't know. I felt like everyone kind of knows what's coming with Spurs at the moment. We're just grinning and bearing it at the moment. That's how it feels.
It's tough, isn't it? And like you say, we look through the team. One of the first things we thought because of Friday, 7 players trained, a lot of illness going around the camp. So immediately, Kev, we've got a new goalkeeper in goal. He's been on the bench for 7 different managers, 17 years at the club, first game. Thought he'd done a good job. How did you see him, and how did you see the team and the performance against that scoreline?
Yeah, I thought he done really, really well. I mean, I watched him in pre-season and he looked very fucking shaky. And that was just in friendlies against sort of like Korean All-Star 11 and stuff like that. So I weren't feeling too optimistic about it. Obviously, being there as long as he has and not having any game time sort of makes you think he was that good. He might have pushed for a start at some point. But I thought, I mean, he must have been absolutely shitting it, like coming out of that tunnel for his first game in a stadium like that with obviously with the situation with the club at the moment, with all the injuries, it is like bare bones. But I thought he done really well. I thought he stayed composed. I thought he needed to make his first couple of catches, needed to make a save, and I thought he didn't look out of place. I thought it looked like he's been playing for us for ages, and there was no nerves there. And fair play to him. And I think he will be one of them keepers, unfortunately, that will either just hang around and take up the homegrown spot for the squad, like Alfie Whiteman's another one. Or it could do him some justice, and maybe if he ever wants to move on, he's got a bit of Premier League experience where he's played a couple of games and he's been training at a club like Spurs. So whatever happens to him, I'm sure he'd be the better for it. So in terms of him, I thought I was really, really proud of him, and I thought he'd done really, really well. As a performance, as a team, I mean, it is what it is. What Tej said, you have got to sort of understand where we are at the moment and what we're coming up against in terms of opposition, full strength opposition as well in most games, and having the injuries we have and having 4 fullbacks as your back 4 for a second half sort of kind of shows you where we are at the minute. But I was just really, really proud of the performance that they're putting in with the restrictions we have in terms of players, with the amount of game time they're playing constantly as well, and sort of a lot of them are running on empty, playing through flu. I just thought it was a performance where they don't look like, to me, a team or a set of players that don't want to play for a manager at the moment. They look like a set of players to me that are going out there and giving their absolute bollocks for him and us as supporters. And I was really, really proud of it. And some of the shit I read after on the socials, and I need to come off it because I'm frustrated with people just because we lose games, don't really see the bigger picture and why we're losing games and what situation we're in. And we just have to be realistic and see where we are at the moment. And we are nowhere near some of these teams we're playing, but we are putting in performances and we're making them work. And especially in that second half, I thought the second half, I couldn't have been more proud of them. I was really, really proud of them. And listen, I'm a loyal supporter, and I'm quick to slag them when they don't play well. But I normally do that when we're at full strength, and there is no excuses. And for me, there is a bit of an excuse at the moment, but we are still going out there and trying to play the way we want to play. And I mean, that's testament to the players. And lastly, I think as well, why it is dark times at the moment, and we are having a makeshift squad out there. I think you're starting to see who your heroes are on that pitch, what players are sort of playing through the shit but coming out. And I'm talking to players like Archie Gray, Jed Spence. These are players really that weren't really supposed to be involved this year. Reguilon was another one I thought didn't do too bad when he come on. And listen, that's a player who should be out of the club by now. We are literally playing players out of position, players that are leaving the club, and they're still going out there and putting their bollocks against the top side, by the way, who are in good form. And I thought we made them look really average the second half. So, in a nutshell, for me, really, really proud. And I can't wait until we do get players back. And if they can put them sort of performances in with a better squad of players and a better at 16 or 18, I think we're okay. And I just think people are getting emotionally distressed with results, but not seeing the real reasons why. And listen, before you go on to Matt, I understand there's flaws in his game. And I do find us that we're open. I do find our fullbacks don't get back in transition. I do know there's problems in that. But in terms of attacking style, we're there. I think he needs to do some work on his defensive side of it. But for me, I think at the moment, White is shit as it is. I think they're playing for the badge, and that's enough for me at the moment. Why we're in this situation.
I'd agree. I think, before, as I say, before I've got a question for Matt, but before I go to that, I did watch that game and I enjoyed the performance. I felt that, there was times in the game, like an ebb and flow you'd expect. They're as good as us, Newcastle. We're in and amongst the same, I think, in many ways, if we didn't have as many bad injuries. We've seen that last season. We've seen it before. But I think, there is a lot to be proud of. And I definitely think there's a way we've got to stick with it. I know it's tough at times, and we've said this each week. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when they play like that, you can see that they're out there. When there's been illness and there's injury, you've got to say, yeah, some stood up and were counted. Matt, coming on to you, because I know you're definitely in the camp of Anjin. It's not gone well at the moment. He does look frustrated. There's a lot of talk at the moment in papers. I was reading the papers today, and they're like, oh, this guy came in and was saying about referees, just let them do their job. I'm never going to blame a ref. And now he's saying blame a ref. It looks like it's got to him. We know what the press are like. They can change like that. 1 minute you're a hero, the next you're a zero. With Ange, and Kev was pointing on it just then about defensively and stuff like that. I don't personally think that high line thing is worries me as much. What worries me as much is bringing it out from the back. Now, do you think if he was to change that slightly, because a lot of times Austin went a bit longer on the kick, and Solanke was always involved in trying to win that ball and won a few of them. Do you think if Ange was to slightly change that, Matt, we might be a little bit more stable at the back? Because their first goal, albeit horrible handball, came from us giving the ball away, being nervy at the back.
Yeah, listen, Jamie also on TikTok has basically commented on what you two were saying. You just need to look at the bigger picture with Ange, and I totally agree. So I think what Kev was saying, what you were saying earlier, is like we do need to look at the bigger picture with Ange and the situation we're currently in. With Ange at the moment, with the reporters and that, it's hard, isn't it? It seems to be losing his head a little bit, where you can understand why. I think he felt like quite a few decisions went against us the other day. But I do think he's adapting to this. Like, we are now going long to Solanke and that, Like, he was up against Dan Burn and Botman the other day, and Solanke was winning others. So I do think it's part of the game that we should do sometimes. You don't always need to play pretty football from the back. Go long, and we pick up the second ball in midfield, Especially with our back line the way it is. We have to just try and bypass the defence into midfield. So if we can't play out from the back, at least win the second ball in midfield.
Yeah, I'd agree there. And I think that, like you say, there has been those slight adjustments as we go along. Staying that at the back, Matt, I'll stay with you here. Dragusin, taken off at half-time. What did you think of him there? We're talking about players ended up in Bicona.
Well, I think Ange come out and said he was one of the ones that wasn't well, and he went out there and tried to play 45 minutes, and he couldn't come out the second half. He just had to come on.
Right. Oh, wow.
So, but to be fair, when I see that back line second half, mate, I honestly thought, I don't think I want to watch this second half. Like, this is going to hurt. But I thought Spence filled in quite well. You can see he's not a natural centre-back, and he got lucky sometimes trying to bring the ball out, and he got clipped. However, he did get lucky, but the ref gave us a lucky free kick. You know what, though? It'd be interesting, because when we do have our normal back line back with Ndogi, Van der Ven, Ramiro, I see Porro out of that team, mate. I see Spence coming into that fullback position, because I think Porro gets caught out a lot, and he hasn't got the pace to get back where Spence has. Spence is rapid, and I do think that we could play that high line with them four centre-backs all day long, and I wouldn't have any worries whatsoever.
But what about Porro's distribution the other day? I mean, he was second to none. Those passes were Trent-esque, or, Beckham-esque.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Trent yesterday. Distribution, he's crossing and that is lovely going forward, but he got torn apart going back. He gets caught out so much going back. And sometimes if you want to play at that higher standard, I get Trent's like completely different to Porro in a way. But if Spurs want to play this massive high line, at least have four fast defenders. You can't do it with one average like speed, Like, I think if Spence coming to that right back role, I think it will. Do you know what? Also, boys, in this period, I think in our front three, Solanke is the only one that can come out of his head held high. Sonny, Werner, Johnson have been absolutely shocking in this period. When we need them the most, they've been awful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly say?
I totally agree with everything Matt said. By the way, I think everything he's just said is on the money with every aspect. Like you're looking at players like the ones he said that would need to come out and really show that these are like senior players in the team now. Do you know what I mean? These are players that have been there, done that. Chelsea's a fucking Werner's a Champions League winner with Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? These are players that have done it at a higher level. And where are they in this period? And there's an article, I can't remember who wrote it, and I feel a little bit bad for not remembering that. But they spoke about how the understudies have shown the senior players what needs to be done in this period. Because it has been the more junior players that have come out looking great, like Kev said earlier. And it is just like, listen, I know I come in here last week before the new year and said, look, there's a few things that Ange needs to be accountable for. I stand by it. But I'm not under no illusions that he's got all the Arsenal that he wants in the world to throw at other teams. He hasn't got it. And he's literally dealing with the bare bones. And you can see why. Like, I think you're seeing this from the fan base at the moment. You're seeing a little bit of an emotional split, like Kev mentioned as well, where fans are looking at Postecoglou and results, and they're jumping on that because it's an emotional reaction. Like, listen, I was fuming we lost on the weekend. I'm just the handball was so hard.
Everyone though? You were there. How was everyone at the end? Because I didn't hear choruses of boos. I felt everyone got behind that team in that second.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It just feels a bit more like everyone's just going with the flow at the moment. It don't feel like there's any no one's going in there going like excited about the games. No one's sort of booing them. Everyone's kind of knows where we're at. But you do have that emotional reaction where you're like, fucking lost again. You know what I mean, you're like, we're losing again.
You know what it is, that's just a supporter in you. Like we're all going into that ground and we're all in the same boat. We know it's going to be shit. We know it's going to be tough. But when that whistle goes and you hear the trumpet and you hear everyone saying, "Come on, you Spurs," from the first minute, you just forget about that and you become that loyal supporter that you are. And then the hope comes in, and then you get emotional, like what T's just saying, and then you get fucking annoyed because you put the effort in. But then when you come out and you calm down, you're on the train, you sort of think, do you know what? We're nowhere near it really, but what a performance. But at the time you're in the ground, that ground can get you, and you can be like, you can just forget the injuries you got because you're in there supporting them. And sometimes we do forget about the bigger picture when we're in there. But what annoys me is that when people don't see this bigger picture and they're emotional inside the ground, before they've got out of the ground, they're on their phones. They're jumping on chats, they're going on Twitter, they're going to sport, and they're emotional. And I mean, some of them are just cunts, but a lot of them are emotional as well. And it's true, though.
It's true. You're right, though. You're right.
Because there's always a negative. There's never just a positive. There's always a negative in something. And I find our fan base, and probably most fan bases, that there are just a certain section of supporters that when things are good, they always have to find the negative in it. And they can never just be good and be proud of them. They can go, yeah, I was all right, yeah, but Ange fucks up by not bringing him off. There's always a negative. And it's just like, we're going nowhere with that sort of attitude. But that's the way some supporters are these days.
Yeah, I think if I look at it, like if we didn't have any sort of style of play or passages of play where I went, oh, there's a team there. That second half showing the goal is incredible goal, great pass, what a header from Solanke. There's quality in that team. If I didn't see any of that, I'd be really worried. And there was points, everyone can say about Nuno, they're winning tonight as we are live when Forest were playing, or they were winning when I last checked the score. You could talk about 2-0, right? So they could be second in the league. They're definitely joint second. Everyone could say, oh, well, look, Nuno's gone on to do this. And that. He weren't right for the club. The style weren't there. There weren't nothing there. There weren't nothing. There weren't building. There weren't patterns of style of play. Forest are one of the lowest possession teams in the league, if not the lowest. And it's a purple patch. And, mate, good luck to them. But it weren't right. It weren't going to breed success. I look at this and I go, yeah, like this time last year or a little bit before, I look at it, I see quality throughout. Not, I think don't get me wrong, we need change, we need improvements, but there's quality there from the style that manager brings. But it's you need real efficiency and everything. And if we get that back, I think would be, where I think we all thought we would be, which is 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe touching 4th. But I do think they would be. TJ disagrees. What do you reckon, TJ?
Yeah, I think we've gone too far now. I think in my opinion, I think it's got to a point now where the point of no return is what they call it, right? I feel like we're at a point now where We've lost too many games. We're kind of drifting away from the pack. I think the best we can hope for is probably like a European place finish. But listen, with what we've had this year, what we've had to deal with, there's no shame in that. If we manage to get a European spot this year, I think you've got to look at the boys and think, fucking hell, they've smashed that. If we get a trophy on top of that, best season we've had in years. How about that? Do you know what I mean? If you get a European place and a trophy. But this is the problem, and I think this is where it comes down to those fans you're talking about, right? It's a lot of people got, like, even myself, like I've got caught up in it a little bit, especially over Christmas, when I lost interest, if I'm being totally honest. They started fucking losing all the games. I'm just like, I can't be bothered to watch us get spanked. I can't bother to watch players that are meant to be stars not turn up. And it's just tough, I think, at the moment. But we've got to bear with it. We've got a manager that plays the Tottenham way, right? Plays attacking football, plays more. You've called out for 5 years for a manager like the one we've got, and now you're not giving him the chance when he's under the most pressure and he hasn't got everything behind him. You have to give him. He has to have the season. Like, he has to have the season and a couple of transfer windows. If we get to the end of the year and we finish in a European place, even top 10, you know, I can imagine he'll get away with if we win a cup. But I'll be honest with you, winning a cup looks miles off at the moment, especially with playing them Scousers in a couple of days. But you have to wait. The failings of this club are much deeper. It's all, and this is what I love at the moment, because if you look at people like us who are on a platform, we're not calling out the manager. And you look at fans, like the majority of fans, they're looking at the hierarchy now, which should have happened years ago. But, you know, when we've had Pochettino or even Redknapp, these eras, yes, we've slowly progressed through those. But where was the real killer? Like, where was the £75 million signing that's going to fucking push us over the edge? Like, this is where the board have failed. Like, we've got managers that have come in and done a lot with what they've got, and we've never given them the tools to go on to the next level. And I saw, again, I've been looking a lot on social media today, and I saw a guy talking about it, and he goes, you know, you're looking at like Man United. Like, listen, their recruitment hasn't been that good, but when they're looking to buy, they're looking at Real Madrid, they're looking at Bayern Munich, they're looking at the top teams in all these leagues. We're looking at fucking Udinese.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're looking at like Czech Republican League, like the Czech League and all that. And you sit there and go, these are the levels. Yes. And this is why, it's all a money thing, and it's bollocks though. We look at our wage structure. That's another thing. We've got the lowest wage to revenue ratio. What that means for, like, for people that don't understand, what that means is that for the amount we earn, we are paying the least respective wages. That is insane. We're meant to be a top 6 big club. Like, at what point are you going to go? And you know, people can sit there and go, "Oh, you start paying big wages, you've got to pay everyone." So no, you prove you're on contracts. You want a new one? Prove you're worth the money. And listen, like, you just got to go out there and go, right, we need to make a marquee signing. Where do we need to tighten up? Centre back, right? Who ain't getting a look in Real Madrid anymore? That's been fucking like electric for the past 3 seasons. Won the Champions League. Who ain't getting a look in? Somewhere like, you got to be looking at the big teams in these leagues and going, you can come play for one of the best teams in the Premier League. You can come join a London club that's looking to push on and win titles. Yeah, but when are we going to make that statement?
When they want over 80 grand a week for a player that's frozen out of his club, that's where Levy will go, no, thank you. He will never take the gamble on it, and that's the problem. What he wants to do instead is try and hire the best sporting director and the best new scouts that are on the scene with all the new technology, and go to Czechoslovakia and buy me a fucking top goalkeeper that's going to cost me less than 15 million.
Yeah, but Kev, the magic circle is broken. We know the illusion now. We've all woken up to what's going on, and we agree. It's all been. The one thing I'll say, not pulled over our eyes anymore. We know that the stadium has been built. Thank you. We know that the training centre has been built. Great. I don't really care about F1 tracks and Beyonce singing in the stadium. This place used to house a football team. I want it back.
But you know what? And I agree with every word you're saying. I think there's got to be that fine margin for us. And I think, look, we found Mickey van der Ven. He was known, but he wasn't known enough for others to buy him. I think where Spurs have done well in the past is we found these players that are, you know, the big teams don't want to take a gamble on for whatever reason. There must be a reason that someone didn't look at Van der Ven from a top, you know,
but Lee, I don't say. Listen, I will let other people speak. Lee, how often have we done that the other way around as well? we've looked at players that are meant to be prospects like Salgado's, Janssens,
Cleveland NG.
Yeah. And Danjuma, like it does go the other way as well. I think we do it all the other way.
Yeah, we don't really get it right much.
No, but my point on that is that like that's where we do need to find that balance. I totally agree. We need to look where you were saying, TJ. But I like that we do find these players here and there, because we, especially from centre back, Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld. You know, they were decent teams, but no one took the punt on them. We did. Your man now we got Van de Ven, Romero, Kulusevski, Bentancur to a degree. Like we have done well there. Parachichi did well there, I should say, in one respect. But we do need those players alongside, you know, a marquee name, one or two. And I feel like what they do, you know, and don't get me wrong, I love Solanke. I think what he's doing is great. But that was our marquee. Now, for me, I think Solanke's fantastic, but I wouldn't have looked at that before, you know, at the start of the season, gone, right, that's going to change you from here to here. He's great. He's a great cog in the wheel. He'll do a fantastic job for us.
You're trying to replace Harry Kane. It's difficult.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen, is it? And that's the problem. It's like they need to do what you're saying, TJ. They need to find those players. I'm glad that they find these rough gems, and I don't want to stop us looking for that. I don't want us to get all these players that want to leave Real Madrid's or Chelsea, or you know, Chelsea, Milan, whatever, because they can't get looking, but they want the big wages because they've been given it.
So the problem is that when you find a Van de Ven or you find a Romero at a decent age when no one really knows them, and you turn them into top players, the rest doesn't follow. When these players get big,
and that's it. That's it. Yeah,
top players, they look around them and think, "Well, I'm going here. This fucking team ain't coming with me." And that's why, like under Poch, that is when Levy should have gone, I've got a good team here. He needs a bit more to bring these on. I need some others 100%. To be on Harry Kane's level. And that's the problem. And I feel like I've gone back 15 years at the moment, where I feel like if Van de Ven had another good season or two good seasons, he's ready to knock on the door for a Real Madrid. And we don't have the power to do that. But I want to go back to that. I want to buy young players that go, now this is the club that are growing. I've got a chairman who wants to grow, a manager who wants to grow with us, and we want to turn this team into a top Champions League side. At the moment, I don't feel that. I feel like players can outgrow us, and that's my issue with Levy not keeping up to speed. If the team is climbing, he has got to put everything towards that. You can't knock it down once you build it so high. You can't pull bricks out. It's just we just end up in a vicious circle, and that's why he's got the record he's got for being successful in terms of on the football pitch. And that's why he's done as good as he has, and which isn't great. And you know, when is the geezer going to learn? I don't know.
Do you know what, though, boy?
In January.
Do not see. I think for the rest of this season, don't rush back Ramiro and Van de Ven. Like, it is what it is with the league now. It is what it is, yeah. And it doesn't matter if we finish 12th now. It doesn't matter. You have to take game by game. And Liverpool in the cup, I think, has just come around too soon for us to get the players back. So we probably will go out to Liverpool, yeah? But the FA Cup, we've got Tamworth, so we've got a good chance of advancing through there, yeah? The time that comes around, and then the knockout stage of the Europa League, we have everyone back. So play your players like Archie Gray every Premier League game to the end of the season, like getting better for next season, you know? Play Spence. Use these players now to the end of the season in the league games. And in the cup games is where we have to go full out for our team and try and push on and get a cup of shit. Like,
now, I can't believe you just said we have a good chance against Tamworth. Not we're going.
I think that. I thought that.
Good chance. Fucking hell, man. I know we're a bit ropey at the moment. Give us some fucking credit.
Yeah.
Well,
you've seen many of them Spursy days as well, mate. Yeah. You've seen them.
You put in Tamworth double chance in your Iraqi or not?
Double chance.
But I mean, with all that said, you know, and I want to go on to Liverpool next and beyond that. But man of the match, Matt, I'll start with you. Who'd you give it to?
Do you know what? I think there was a couple of decent performances, but do you know what? I'm going to say Spence, you know. Like, he's just come out of the cold. He's gone left back. Now he's playing centre back. Like, he's done a good job, you know. And he was marking Isak, one of the most deadliest strikers, the other day. And he went centre back. And Isak didn't even touch the ball second half. I'm going to give it to Spence.
Nice. Kev?
Yeah, I'll make Matt right. There's a few that I could pick, actually. I mean, before I get to the one I pick, I thought Austin had a good game. Obviously, we spoke about him earlier. Spence had a good game. I thought Solanke had a good game. But he was hooked too early for me, and I've been a bit critical of him. He's just a bit of immaturity in his play, and I thought that he was a man that had a point to prove, or a boy who had a point to prove, and that was Bergvall. And I thought that was his best game I've seen in a Spurs shirt. And I think the crowd reaction would tell you everything when he got hooked. That, you know, we've kind of maybe seeing the player that we all saw on fucking YouTube and Twitter taking the piss in the Swedish league. He just had that bit of, this is my game, I'm going to get on the ball. And I've been critical of him because he does make rash, silly tackles. I do like that he's got a bit of bite in him. Can pass sideways and backwards too many times, but in that first half of Newcastle, I didn't think he did, and I thought he drove forward, got stuck in with fucking Joel Linton, who ain't exactly a fucking a little lad. You know what I mean? That's a big lad he's having a contest with, and I just thought he got out there and he looked like he wanted to play, and for his age and everything else, I thought that was his best game. So I'll probably give it to Bergvall.
Nice, Tej.
To be fair, mine would have been a toss-up between the two that have already been mentioned. I was one of the people that booed the decision to take Bergvall off. I thought he was exceptional. And again, I think this, just go back to what I said earlier. I think this is a point where the understudies, the juniors in the team, were the main players in that game. I felt like the senior players went missing. So yeah, I would equally give it to Spence as well. I thought he looked busy on the pitch. I thought he was involved in a lot of stuff going forward as well. It's a toss-up between them two. I just want to touch on Solanke because I know a lot of people rate Solanke's game, right? So I'm a big fan of Solanke. I think anyone that goes to games often, I'm sure Damon will text me now and tell me I don't, but anyone that goes to games often, he has got a point this season. But listen, anyone that goes, they know what Solanke does off the ball, how hard working he is. My dad is not a fan of him, so much so that he's changed his name to So Wanky. He calls him So Wanky. He's like, I just don't think he's any good. Eh?
He's on 11 goals.
Yeah, I know. My dad's got a bet with Pepper as well. That it's similar to your Richarlison bet last year. But my dad just don't rate him. He's like, I think he's the biggest waste of money. I don't get it. He's not what we need. But I'm the opposite. I think he's great. So like, I even think Solanke, actually, and I agree with what Matt said earlier. He's the only one up top at the moment that's been consistent. Kulusevski as well, but even him, I thought he just lost it a little bit in the top third. Like he just didn't really have. He kept giving the ball away at the final moment and making the wrong decision. But Solanke's probably been the most consistent up top for me. But I would go back to Bergvall. I think I agree with Kev. I think Spence Bergvall, it'd be a really tight toss up. But I think it's probably his best game of the season, and he's had a lot of sticks, so he can have that one for me.
TJ, 2 secs, mate. Jamie from TikTok has said your dad's been watching Harry Kane for the last 10 years. That's why he thinks Solanke's shit. Yeah,
that's not bad shout. I hope my dad's watching as well because that's a good one.
The thing is, a lot of people want the Kane replacement, and they want their number 9 to score 30 goals a season. But with Solanke, I think you're going to get goals, but you're going to get hard work and graft, and you're going to get a striker that gets back and defends set pieces. You're going to get a guy who can hold it up. You're going to get a guy
hold it up.
He can hold it up, and he's quite good with his feet for a big lad. And I think he's a poacher in the box when it comes across. I think he can get in there. I think in time, the old man might change his mind, but he might have to score 50 goals a season for your old man to change his mind. I don't know.
Also, Chris, if Johnson and Sonny pull their finger out, Solanke wouldn't have to do all this running around like an headless chicken. Sometimes,
this is my thing, right? With what Tej was saying about when I watched that game the other day, I'm looking at Spence, Archie Gray, Bergvall, these young players, Archie Gray especially. I can't tell you how good this kid is for someone who's playing out of position. I think he could do a job there if we was ever fucked. In the future, I think he can play anywhere. He's one of them luxury players that we've got.
He's brilliant.
For his age, he's fearless. He makes the game look easy at 18.
Is he 19?
18, isn't he?
Wow,
he makes the game look so easy. And when I look at some of them senior players, I'm like, especially as a captain, how do you get outshone by these players that are coming in from the cold? As a captain, every young player has to look up to you in your performances and how you drag your team through the mud in certain games. And I'm watching Son at the moment and a few other senior players, but I'll dig Son out more because he's the captain. And I just don't see that example that he's setting on the pitch. Listen, he might be the fucking funniest guy in the change room and love everybody. I get all that. But on the pitch, sometimes, especially as your skipper, you need someone who's going to put themselves about. Or if they're not going to put themselves about, they need to do damage with the football. And at the moment, he's not doing neither. And I think them young players and them players coming in from the cold, especially in that second half, I thought everybody outshone the senior players, the young ones. And that maybe just is a sort of sign of where we're going and maybe where we need to go, and where some of these players maybe have sort of had their time at the club, and it is time for the youngsters to push more in, give more minutes to Bergvall, give more minutes to Spence, and then bring in players as well, good players that can sort of mould this and not have any players that are sort of dragging their heels on the pitch, especially in attacking dangerous positions where we need people to be lethal. It just isn't there, and we're relying on kids at the moment. And for me, that they're all doing themselves proud and sort of showing up the senior players a lot.
So dick in the day, Kev. Oh, go on, Matt.
Do you know anything about this new goalkeeper we've signed, or is it just another YouTube player that we've just got?
Well, listen, I watched him put an assist on Twitter out of his hands, mate. He sliced his ball, put someone through. Listen, he can kick. He's for me. He's for me.
I think
you want it long.
I think it's really funny how we've been crying out for a keeper that can play out for the back, and all of his highlights are him like walking around players, basically. Like tapping around players and stuff.
It's like FIFA, the old FIFA on the Mega Drive.
Literally.
Joe Lee, it's one of them ones we were talking about earlier. It could be another little gem, but I'm sick and tired of keep YouTubing these players who we're signing, thinking, who's this now? I've never heard of him.
Hey, listen, you play FIFA, Matt. I'll just say,
I've never heard of this geezer, Kev. I've never heard of this geezer.
But you know what? A good thing is about signing, if he is as what everyone's saying he is. I mean, Vicario's never had competition. And I think it's very important for goalkeepers to have competition. And I know it's very hard to have two good goalkeepers in the first team because they both want to play and one ends up going. But Vicario, for me, just doesn't have the competition that he should have. So if there is a good keeper breathing down his neck who can play with his feet and is good with his hands like Vicario, I think it'll only be good for us and benefit the team by having two keepers that are chomping at the bit to play.
What I will say, lads, before we go on to that, is dick in the day, Kev. I just wanted to ask you that because you were talking about Son. Would one of those senior players or Son have your dick of the day for Newcastle?
It's do you know what? I want to dig someone out and give it to him, but he done good things in the game as well, and that's Porro. I mean, defensively, it's a shambles. The inverted fullbacks at the moment is a thing. If you haven't got pace, it's tricky. And teams have sort of worked that out now that if they can nick it off us, they play down them flanks and we're out of position. Centre backs end up coming over, big gaps in the middle when you play it across. I mean, that's how we're getting found out. Defensively, I thought he was a dick. Going forward, I thought his crossing was great. And it's just a shame that he can't really do both. And, you know, when I watched Liverpool yesterday and Arnold was the same. For how good he is as a footballer, as a defender, he's not good enough. And if we can get Spence going there at right back, I mean, I wouldn't say no to seeing Porro playing out wide sometimes if needed be. But as a defender, I think he's letting us down. And to be fair, Adogie's been the same as well. He's let us down in defensive situations. So it's like, let's go forward. I get that. But really, let's think about it. Let's think about our positioning. If that ball does get taken off us and there is a transition, where we've got to be. And I think he's got to sort that out for one Ange. And maybe getting the right players in to get that system, like Matt said, two lightning quick fullbacks might make it work. But at the moment, Porro defensively for me is a bit of a letdown.
Matty, dick of the day for you, mate.
Dick of the day, mate. If I can avoid giving it to a player, I've got to give it to the ref because I feel like he should have sent Dan Burn off for the second yellow card. End of. The handball, if you're going to give the handball, that's fine for Joe Linton. But Dan Burns should have been sent off for the second yellow. So I've got to give him for that. But if I have to pick a player, I'm going to give Brennan Johnson, mate, because the geezer for ages just pops at the back post for 20 seconds, grabs a goal, and you don't see him again. Like, he impacts the game in no way whatsoever. I have to give it for Johnson. He's been absolutely shocking recently. Like, it's embarrassing. He was up. Who was he up against the other day? Lewis Hall. Not once did he try and run at him. Not once.
He don't run at players, Matt. It must be a coach's decision because he never ever runs. And when he does run it, when he gets the ball and he's 1-on-1, he passes inside and he goes on a little run round and tries to sneak in the box. But thing is, man, when he's given a chance to cross, I mean, he does put a nice ball in. But in that attacking sense, he needs his fullback to overlap him. But I'm like, you're 1-on-1. Just take him on.
And against Wolves, he was against Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson's about 40 years old.
It's true.
TJ, you were nodding. Is he your dick of the day as well? Johnson, you were there.
I'll be honest. Listen, boys, I don't know about you lot, but I'm similar to. Do you know what? I'm agreeing with Matt a lot today, and it's
right. You know, it feels weird.
I'm like, he's getting it spot on with
brainwashed you. I've brainwashed you, boys. He's brainwashed.
Yes, he's got me in. He's got me in.
You know, you know, in the group chat. You know the Spurs group chat we got. Every time Matt writes something, I'm like, he's got a fucking point. He's so right. I don't know if I can tell him, but I end up agreeing with him all the time because I know he's fucking spot on there. It fucking feels strange.
Yeah, I know it does. It does. But listen, boys, you lot were watching on TV. For me, the handball was a handball. No, like, was it like I saw it from my seat? But it looked too far away from his body. I don't know. Anyway, that bugged me the whole game because I think about 5 minutes later, we had the same thing down the other end and they gave them a free kick straight away. But so whoever's doing VAR could fucking get it for me. But yeah, do you know what? Me and my dad, again, I was at my dad's. So I had this conversation with him after the game. And I said to him, do you know what? Johnson's living on the fact that he scores these goals at the back post. I was like, he pops up at the back, he scores these goals, but then I don't know what else he does. Like, he's a great finisher, Johnson, by the way. He's so good in that position. When he gets on that corner, he always knocks it across the keeper, near post. He gets it every time. But outside of that, I'm with Matt. I'm like, what else does he do? Like, I don't really know.
What killed me with Johnson was when he was playing against Craig Dawson against Wolves. I couldn't watch it no more. I was fuming.
Yeah, anybody's hairline who's at the fucking crown of his head, you should be fucking beating him in a one-on-one situation. Sorry.
We'll get a football at the weekend and find out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sort of going back then into that idea of, we talked about a goalie's coming. The goalie's coming within the first 5 days. There's talk about a loan for a French player from PSG now. How much business are you lot expecting? TJ, I'll start with you. How much business are you expecting? Is it, is this just speculation? Is the goalie the one that came in because it's a bit on the cheap and we needed it? Do you really expect a lot more? Are you excited by anything?
Let me tell you exactly what Tottenham do to me when it comes to a transfer window. Yeah. So I'm hearing Ange comes out in the press in December. I've been a good boy this year. I've got my list. Hopefully he's nice to me. Anyway, day one, we confirmed that 2 academy players have been given professional contracts. That is the extent of Tottenham's transfer window. I'm telling you now. There's a reason they're making points about these signings. Like, they don't need to broadcast it. That is what Tottenham do. You've got Levy sitting there. You've got your manager. You've got an injury crisis. And he's on day one of the transfer window. He's confirming 2 kids have been given professional contracts. Fuck off, mate. Seriously, are you joking? Is this what you're giving me for a transfer window? And then he brings in some goalkeeper. It looks like a fucking game on FIFA. I'm with Matty again. I don't know who he is. I've had to Google him and see like the YouTube videos about him. Fucking next week, Damiel's back on the transfer list, and that's going to be Spurs' transfer window. But now, all jokes aside, we need to do business. It's not even a case of expectations. We have to do business. The problem is January is notoriously terrible, and I know I sound like a cliche saying that, for doing permanent signing business. This is the month of loan signings for us, and we need to have some good loans come in. But we need to be looking at the big clubs. This guy from PSG, this is the sort of stuff we need to look at. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Kaminsky Nightglow is saying we're looking at a left back for Lecce.
Is he made them? Is that Gazy made them players up?
I don't know. This is what we're saying. That we're looking at. He's saying, look, that keeper.
That last name was a fucking Russian missile, wasn't it?
That keeper is just another young cheap player on low wages. Nothing has changed. A lot of people are saying, obviously in the chats here, Levy just cashes in on big players. They use Tottenham as a stepping stone. They don't expect things to come in again when we need it. Like now, it will either be up and comers or people on low wages, as we've had people putting in the messages to us. I've seen about.
Mate. What's going to make our transfer window really with loans is wages. He's got to realise where we are at the moment. what we need. We've got cup competitions coming up, and if you want better players and you want to win football matches, you're going to need to pay for them. And if you're not going to pay for them, you're going to loan them. You're going to have to give them a good wage, and you're probably going to have to pay a bit for them as well. In terms of, I mean, they do this thing now where you buy them, then you pay an X amount of money to loan them, as well as paying their wages. So, listen, I'm sure he's over in France. I think he was over in France yesterday when he was it today, Levy and Lange.
All right.
So I'm sure they're probably trying to say to him, look, I know you 160, but we'll give you fucking 60 grand and fucking Chick King for 6 months. I don't know whatever he's trying to do. But I'm sure he ain't going to want to pay it. But this is where Levy lets us down, and he obviously where we are at the moment. If he wants to be in Europe next year, really he's going to have to try and win a trophy, and he's going to have to put all his eggs in that basket, and you're going to have to pay for success, unfortunately, and that's where we are with it. But that is going to be key for me. It's going to be good loans, good players, but it's going to have to be good wages.
Kev,
well, they're talking about this.
Today.
What's
that? Back in training today.
Ronnie Rosenthal?
Looks fine. Charlison is on my mind. And he's Tottenham's number 9. See you do it back.
Do you know what? We need him back. That's what we need him back.
This is the thing. I'm looking now. So the player that they're talking about, Randall Kolo Muani, they've flown out there. This is not something that Levy normally does. Do you think he's feeling the heat that he's going, right, I want to look at this guy on loan? He could earn around 165,000 a week at Tottenham. He's likely to cost around 55 million if the loan deal becomes permanent.
You know, PSG bought him for 73 million off
yeah.
And have you looked how many goals he scored? He hasn't scored fucking many. So I hope he's just doesn't like the French capital, and he wants to come down to London.
I mean, he's
wrong there.
Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, to be fair, yeah, he scored 2 goals in 10 games in the league in France.
Where's he from?
Where's he from? Goals. He is from. He plays for France as well. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you get?
The reason I asked that is because Kev's like, I hope he just doesn't like the French capital, and I'm pretty sure he's French.
But he's in Paris, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Paris,
yeah,
but
Paris
he's
in France,
in the
mate.
Champions League.
I think we bring in that goalkeeper. I think we bring in potentially this French striker on loan, but we have to bring in one more. We have to. Not like a young player. We need a ready player.
Who is that though? I don't know who's out there.
I mean, well, to be fair to him, he's 27, so he's not like a kid. He's someone who's supposed to be in his prime. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they'd be silly to do an obligation to buy. I mean, PSG are obviously going to want to recoup some of that money. So if I'm PSG, I'm going, look, you can have him on loan, but if it all goes well and he scores a certain amount of goals, you've got to buy him for 50 mil.
Do you know what?
I believe you going for that.
I was doing that with an obligation to buy. We're going to offload Richarlison in the summer, I think, no matter what. So we'll recruit that money to put towards that money.
That's if he's any good, then why not?
But is that the player that we like? Is he the player that we need though? Like I don't automatically think when we look at this team, I'm thinking fullback
what's he like on FIFA, man?
No, mate. Listen, on FIFA, he's fucking good, mate. I'm telling you, he's powerful, mate. He's fast. Do you know what I mean? Like he can play either left or right, but he'll give. He can play through the middle. He's must, but basically playing through left and right. And I feel like that's what we're missing. Like saying this crucial period when we've needed players the most. Johnson, Sonny, and Werner have fucking bottled it.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is not great. I mean, but now we've got to look to Wednesday. This is huge for us. This is a massive, massive game. It's the first leg. It's at home. It's against Liverpool. We don't know what Liverpool team. They've got Accrington Stanley on Sunday, so they can probably rest them a lot then and take this a bit more serious because they're also doing very well in the Champions League. TJ, what are you expecting? I know we've talked about it, touched upon it. Do you think we're going to get something out of this first leg at least?
No, you shouldn't have come to me first. I'm going to be a downer, mate. Nah. Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Not at all. Not within a goal, not a goal up, goal down.
Kick him out, Lee. Time's up.
No, listen, let me tell you something. I hate to admit this because I fucking hate Liverpool as well. I can't stand them. Absolutely hate them. But they're the best team in Europe right now. They are. They had an off game against United yesterday and still got a draw. They didn't play well at all and still got a draw.
Are we playing that team?
Yeah, but look at our team. Like, it's not like this. Is what everyone's like. Oh, we get Liverpool. They're going to rest the players. It's like Yeah, but we've got fucking no one to play them. Like, it's not like we've got our first team.
You've been sitting next to your dad too long, T.
All right, listen. If any of you can hand on your heart think we're going to go out there and beat Liverpool on Wednesday, like genuinely believe that, my hat goes off to you. Honestly, I just don't see it, especially after the fucking 6-3 the other week.
Does anyone believe? I
do.
There we go.
Back to normal. Fucking me and him disagree again.
No, I'm telling you. Slaughter's come out and said it'd be good for Tottenham to win a trophy. It'll be good, right? He likes Ange and stuff like that. Liverpool was in a tough battle yesterday. That pitch was boggy as hell, mate. He ain't risking none of them players. Like, you look at all the rounds, even Southampton, he's going to play Konsa centre-back with probably Endo, yeah? He knows that we're battered in defence, and I think he'll try and make a couple of tweaks to try and level his team out with our team and make it an even playing ground.
I don't know, mate. You know, like what Lee's saying, when you've got Accrington and Stanley on the weekend, that's the game you want to do all that.
Kev, listen, they're not interested in the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, mate. They want the league.
Yeah, the thing is, Matt, they might start
Yeah.
players that might not be in their first team, but if it all goes wrong and we go 2-0 up or whatever, the weapons they got on the bench can just change the game just like that. Well, we have literally got what we've got. But I do think
4-1.
But listen, I do think that Spurs will no doubt give it a go, and
Yeah.
we're going to be open. We're probably going to concede goals, but it is what it is. But I think what's like T was saying earlier about the Newcastle thing, it's like we're all kind of going in there at the moment. We're looking at the team that we're putting out and what we've got available, and we're kind of just hoping for the best. And that's where we're at a minute. And I think that's how I'm going to go into it and hope for the best and see what happens. But it might just be another one of me being realistic as a supporter and as a football person and just going, we're not as good as them. We probably will lose, but let's give it a go and see what happens. And with us,
listen,
go on, Lee. Go on, T.
Matty's sitting there going talking about 4-1. That could be our fucking formation if the way things carry on. That could be what we fucking end up putting. Team.
Now listen, this is a message to our fan base here, though. Yeah, if it was on normal 11, yeah, or maybe just 1 or 2 injuries, it's a cup that we have to go for. Yeah, we've all said that we had to go for it, but you have to take game by game and competition by competition. Right now, if Liverpool played their full strength team, they could batter us once again. Like there's no denying that. I'm not going to be down and out if we don't beat Liverpool over these 2 legs. If we had our full strength team, I'll be absolutely gutted that we've gone out. But if we lose now over 2 legs with this current team, what we've got, I'll be like, mate, what can you do? You know.
Yeah, the thing is, man. The thing is, if that does happen, the first thing you're going to see is, right, that's it. The cup's gone. Fucking get him out. And that's all you're going to hear.
Right.
And that's the minority of supporters that I can't be associated with.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like Matt said, if we're at full strength, different story. But with what we have now, we just have to be fucking realistic. Please be fucking realistic and know what we've got and what we have available. And you're going up against one of the best teams. And they will have them all on the bench. And I'm sure they'll fucking sprinkle them on at some point. So it is what it is. And it's come at a shit time for us. And I mean, if we went out against Liverpool over 2 legs, you know, I'm not going to look back at it and go, that was a massive opportunity missed because of the players that we're putting out. And it's just me being real. And
I agree.
And we'll just have to. I know they'll give it a go, and that's all you can ask for at the moment.
But that's what I was saying, Kev. That's a message to our fan base. So if we do go out, don't be one of them donuts and jump all over it. Just relax. It is what it's just like you say, Kev. It's just come at such a shit time for us, and it is what it is.
And we've got Arsenal as well in
that's what I was going to say. It gets a bit easier. Only Arsenal the week after.
I feel like I've been saying this the whole time anyway. I feel like the League Cup is not our most realistic chance. I know it's a semi-final, so everyone's like, it's the closest one we could get to winning. But I still think the Europa League is our more realistic chance of a trophy this season. FA Cup, like I
said, a 2-legged manager though. Like, because this is 2-legged. Do you think? I know there's no away goals in any of these. Do you think he's a 2-legged manager? I think he's he's best chance.
I think he's a 3-legged manager, Lee. I think he is.
Lee.
Aussie.
A guy Lee's just messaged on TikTok saying, "Get a positive result. We're still in the tie and take it back to Anfield, but with our full team because Van der Ven, Ramiro are all back for that second leg, and no one knows what's going to happen."
Yeah, score draw will be good.
I'm purely hopeful. That's what I'll say. I don't think we'll get it, but I hope we do, and I'm purely hopeful for it.
What time are you down there, Teach? Yeah, mate.
Taxi.
Are you going,
Yeah,
Matt?
we down there Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be down there, mate.
Yeah, same.
All
All
right.
jokes aside, boys, I could come through. I could be down there. I'll let you know.
All right, sweet.
Well, let's hope that the crowd is really, buoyant up there. I'm sure they'll make a noise. I think the best atmosphere I've ever been to was the semi-final. It was against Chelsea, mind, in the League Cup in 2002, but it was the best I've ever heard a stadium in my whole life. We need that. I think we need it. Whether it's going right, whether it's going wrong, we need that support.
Well, we are kind of in that mode, Lee, really, of like that game you just mentioned there, the Chelsea game, and the other semi-final when we beat Arsenal as well. We're never as good as them, and at the moment we're not as good as who we're playing. But it could just be one of them nights that might just get you over the line. It's a shame we're not away first leg, because I think I would have preferred that.
Yeah,
pull it back.
3-1 Spurs.
3-1.
No, 3-1 Spurs, mate.
I'll tell you,
he's lost confidence.
2-2 draw for me. 2-2 draw.
2-2. Peach.
Really?
7-0 Liverpool.
3-3. coming from him, of all people.
I'm going to say 3-2 Tottenham. I think it's going to be high scoring.
He's good,
I think, I reckon we'll do it. I reckon we'll do it. The second leg, who knows? But positivity. If we get a good result and take it there, anything can happen.
Just the thing is, like, everyone just has to be like, that's the kind of tone we're setting now. Is like, listen, it is what it is. Let's just see what happens. But let's just kind of, I wouldn't say laugh through this patch, but we just have, we can't. You can't sort of get fucking too stressed and fucked off by it.
But don't you think, Kev? It's our first semi-final for a long while. We need to make that stadium noisy on Wednesday. Yeah, but it's not going to be. We know that.
This ain't White Lane, man. This ain't White Lane, Matt. That's the problem. What Lee's saying there about that Chelsea game, that was the old stadium. And when we was always the second best team in going into a game like that against Chelsea Arsenal, in that stadium would get you over the line. This stadium isn't getting you over the line in games like that. It just isn't. It isn't the same. And I hope it will be one day. And I hope it is on Wednesday. But that is what is missing. And I don't know. Until we get that back,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's weird here.
Weird.
Joe H 1988 on Instagram says there's 4,000 spare tickets left, which is shocking. I don't think it's even that pricey. This is one of the £37, I think I read. Yeah. So it's very interesting. I know it's Wednesday night, start of the year. It's hard at times, but that's crazy. But positivity.
That's probably sold out now, though. That's probably sold out.
I hope so.
It will be if you fucking keep selling it. Fucking 4-1.
But right, we always finish.
I'm doing my part for the club, mate.
Yeah, I love that. We need that. But we're going to finish with a quiz, 5 questions, just to end on a brighter note. New year. Let's see who gets ahead every week. There'll be a champion, and that'll follow on for the week after. But this is a multiple choice one. I'm going to give a multiple choice over 5 questions to this one. So I'll go around and ask you all. If you get a point, you can all say the right answer. If you get that, you get a point. The one with the most points over the 5 questions is the winner. If you're playing along in the socials live, please put your messages in the chat. If you're playing at home when you're listening to us on your podcast, scream at your device. We hear you. And
is this a League Cup quiz?
No, this is a general Tottenham quiz today. I thought I'm going to go a bit more general to start the year because it's not been going so well. So I thought, right, I'm going to go a bit more general. But
1 minute, Lee. I'm just going to get ready. 1 minute.
Yeah, he's just getting his Googles.
Like the last one. But right, I will start with this one. Which player scored Tottenham's first Premier League hat-trick? Was it Paul Gascoigne, Jurgen Klinsmann, Stefan Everson, or Teddy Sheringham? I'll start with Matt, and I'll go around then Kevin, TJ.
Oh, okay. I think I know this. I think I was there.
I'm going to go with Teddy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going
Teddy Sheringham.
I'd have said Teddy as well. I can't lie. I'd have said Teddy.
Teddy Sheringham. Correct. You've all got a point.
Do you know the game?
I do.
Is it 4-0?
Correct.
I was fucking there, mate. I was there.
Yeah, Leeds, 1993.
That was my second ever game I went to.
Probably in that same shirt as well.
Hey, do you know what was funny about that?
As well.
Yeah,
My
but
dad-
he still fits him, so we're all right.
Let me tell you a quick story. My dad said to me, "Do you want to have a bet on the game?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll have Teddy Sheringham to score 2 goals in that game."
Oh,
So he ran to the little Ladbroke stand, put it on. So he went, "Hold that, and if it comes in, we'll obviously go and collect your money." So anyway, he starts talking away, and I've met this kid next to me, and he goes to me, "Oh, when the final whistle goes, let's tear up all these bits of paper, and we can throw it as confetti." I went, "Yeah, all right then, mate." So I've got all the shit out of my pocket. Anyway, I've got the winning betting ticket in my pocket, and I've ripped it and threw it up. Anyway, the final whistle's gone. The old man's gone, "Oh, you've won. You scored a hat-trick." I'm like, "All right, where's your ticket?" So fucking about 1,000 bits over there. And my old man went to the bookies counter and somehow still got my winnings out of it. I don't know. He had a right.
really?
Yeah, I don't know how he got it, but I think
that is a
about
silver.
8 or
Oh
9.
bloody hell! Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a great story, mate. Great story.
It's probably something I would do if my son ripped his ticket up. I'd be trying to fucking sellotape it back together off the floor.
Brilliant. But yeah, he did. It was Leeds 93, but then he got the second one against Newcastle in 1994. So you've all got a point on that one. This next one. Who did Spurs beat in the 1984 UEFA Cup final? Was it Anderlecht, Bayern Munich, Twente, or Wolverhampton Wanderers? I'll start this time with TJ. Go on, TJ.
I know. So, like, as in, I'm 100%
as well.
Go on him.
Anderlecht.
Fuck off, Matt. Matt wasn't sure.
Anderlecht. Fuck off, Kev.
No, you didn't, mate. He waited, Teach, for us to, and then he went, "Yeah, Anderlecht."
No, I would have gone first.
Next time, ask him first.
What was the score, Matt?
I don't know what the score was, but I knew it was Anderlecht.
Penalties. We beat him on penalties.
Look, even Dan the Travel Man and TikTok's putting Anderlecht and that in there, you know, like.
He's cheating. He's watching everyone on the socials.
I knew it was Anderlecht. I knew that one was Anderlecht.
Right, you've all got 2. I'm going to give you all 2.
Wolves. So we just a little bit of added trivia to that. So we did play Wolves in the first UEFA Cup final. That was a draw and then a win when it was 2-legged. So we beat Wolves. We lost to Feyenoord in '74, and we haven't been in apart from Liverpool, a European final since.
Wow.
Get your graph up, T. I need to see it on the graph.
Right, question 3. Question 3. Let's see who gets this one. I'm going to start with you on this one, Kev. Which Spurs player has the most Premier League appearances? Is it Darren Anderson, Hugo Lloris, Michael Dawson, or Robbie Keane?
Ooh.
I think I know this one.
Hey, I'll say them again. Okay. Darren
Anderton, Lloris, Dawson, or Keane? What are you saying at home? What are you saying?
I'm stuck between 2.
I'm pretty certain, I think.
Okay, I'll go for Hugo Lloris.
I'm going to go Shaggy.
Okay, and
I think it's Hugo Lloris, and I think he's in our top 10 as well overall.
Right, with 356 appearances, the most Premier League appearances for a Spurs player is Hugo Lloris. So Kev and TJ have a point. They're 3-2 up on Matty. And
you know what? If Anderton was so fit, Anderton, he might have fucking won that.
Oh, he smashed it. Yeah.
Lee, am I right in thinking he's on something like 410 overall, 420?
In
a Spurs shirt.
Oh, I haven't got that. I've got the Premier League appearance.
I mean, let me get Wikipedia up.
Go on, get that up. While I look. So this is our 4th one. This is our 4th question. Which White Hart Lane stand had the biggest capacity? Paxton Road, East Stand, Park Lane, or the West Stand?
North.
Which? North.
Fuck off,
Matty.
In the old stadium.
This is the old stadium, yeah.
West. Probably had about 2,000.
Paxton Road is the north, obviously. Worcester Avenue was on the east.
Don't help him. Don't help him.
High Road.
No, I'm going to go north.
No, he said it. He's gone north.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with him and go north.
North.
I'm like, what? Why they go? Listen, if it's north or south, that will shock me. They're the smallest bits.
Oh, okay.
The West Stand is tiny.
I think.
You have the West.
I would.
And then there's glass. And then there's
don't influence him, Matt, because I need this point. Because I'll go ahead of him if he fucks this up.
I thought they were all just equal. I literally thought they were equal.
I'll go north.
No, they're not. No, because it's double the length, isn't it? And then, but then I know what you're saying because they're sort of tiered. Like you get more rows. Like if you look at the shelf, it's not as
Can you put a time on this, Lee?
shelf. I'm gonna go to shelf. The shelf.
Shelf that's the pot lane.
East.
No, shelf's on the east.
East.
Right, I can tell you that the north stand capacity was 10,086,
Fucking hell. It
and
probably is
the
that
east stand was housed. It had 10,691 and was the biggest stand capacity. So TJ
Really?
is ahead. Yeah, with one to go.
Fucking double the length for the others. It had to be.
Yeah.
What was the difference
10,600
between north and east? How many?
Literally about 600 seats between north and east.
Damn, he can't.
That's crazy.
10,691 for the east, 10,086 for the north.
That's
So
insane.
yeah,
The
crazy.
east is where you're sitting now, TJ. What we're saying now with the poles.
Yeah, that's the east. Yeah. This is the shelf.
Right.
Yeah, look at the north
Right.
stand in that one. It's fucking tiny. Fucking Craven
But
Cottage
no,
in the corner, isn't it?
What stand was it when in the mid 90s with Klinsmann? Remember they knocked it, they built it again. Was that the south, wasn't it? Or was that the north? Remember they when we played, we had
with the screens.
construction work
That
going
was
on.
it. Yeah, that would have been the
Paxton.
yeah,
Was the
yeah,
Paxton?
behind the goal. Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
it's
wild.
4 for TJ, 3 for Kev, 2 for Matty. So Matty can't win this one, but for to try and salvage some pride, this is the final question. How many Premier League golden boots did Harry Kane win for Tottenham? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Golden boots. What the Premier League?
Yeah, Premier
top
League
four,
golden
right?
boots. Yeah, how many? Yeah, how many times?
I'm going to
1,
say
2,
4.
3, or 4. Matty says 4.
I'm gonna
TJ's
go
shaking his head.
3.
3 for Kev. TJ,
Right,
this is
right.
all-
Listen,
it could
listen.
be if you get it right and you get it wrong, it's a tiebreaker.
Can I change?
Go on.
No.
You can.
It's either 2 or 3. I feel like he got 2 in a row and then maybe 1 later on.
Look at him
The thing
playing
is-
safe.
Yeah, he's probably playing safe.
Right,
But
go
no,
on.
this is the thing.
What
If
are you
I
saying?
could right. Listen, I could say 3 and win, right? Because if I agree with Kev, then right, and if we both get it right, I win. But I'm gonna do the honourable thing. I think it's 3, but I'm gonna guess 2 because I was 50-50. 2.
Why would you do that? What, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, 2.
All right, Chris Tarrant.
So I love that.
Are you sure you want to go orange?
4 for Matty,
Every
3 for
relegation
Kev,
form, you're right.
2
Right,
for TJ. The actual answer is 3 times: 2015, 2017,
Cheers, thanks,
and
mate.
2021. So that means that it's 4 apiece for TJ and Kev.
You've got a
So
tiebreaker.
yeah, it's a tiebreaker.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm-
Right,
I'm-
Lee, with the tiebreaker, that Nightglow's put something on YouTube. Use these questions.
Go on. What's he put?
So, what was the capacity of the White Hart Lane when it was all standing?
Oof.
Round it to the nearest number.
Well, give us some multiple
I mean,
choice.
I've got to find that now. Don't put it in the chat.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you can't, it's tiebreaker. It can't be multiple choice.
No, actually,
is
go on,
yes,
Lee. Do another
tiebreaker.
question. Lee, do another
That's a
question.
tiebreak. Well, I'll do this one, and then I'll ask you another one, just as a bit of a friendly one with all of us. But this, I'm looking on it now.
When it was all standing.
Yeah.
I bet that was a fucking lot.
I'm gonna say 78,000.
What are we
Right.
doing? Nearest to it?
Yeah, nearest to it.
I'll go 79.
What did you say? What did
Oh,
you
you
say?
cheating, cunt.
All right,
think
I'll
it's
go.
about
I'll go 81.
You wouldn't have said that.
81.
I would have. I was thinking more actually, but I'll
And
go
what did
81.
you say? What did you say, TJ?
78.
78, 81. The correct answer is 80,000. 80,000. So you do it for what's behind, don't you? So TJ, you get it because Kev's
No,
got.
he was closer.
Would it-
Oh, is it? What, do you
Well,
go behind?
do it like. Well, normally you do,
Ah.
but I mean, I'll tell you what. That was a good question.
He's
Because
trying
it was
to
so
read the
close.
scores
We're
here,
going to do
Lee.
a second tiebreaker. We're going to do a
Fuck
second
you.
tiebreaker. Right, here we
we
go.
we were both close though. He was going higher. He was going higher. He was never going 81.
Right. Well, this one, I'm going to ask and see what you think of this one, because I didn't know this. But what was the controversial event that happened in 1919 that ignited the North London rivalry between Arsenal and Tottenham?
I know the answer.
Was it that Arsenal paid 10,000 to poach Herbert Chapman from the Lily Whites? Division 1 expanded by 2 teams and Arsenal were invited to join at the expense of Spurs. Tottenham supporters released a herd of goats onto the Highbury pitch. Or, as we know, Tottenham moved into Hertfordshire until 1926 because the Football Association deemed that there could only be one club in North London. So what would you say?
I think I know the answer.
Go on.
Like, as in, I'm like 99% sure. So I'd like to let Kev answer first.
You should let me go first, then, if he knows it. What was the second one again?
Division 1 expanded by 2 teams and Arsenal were invited to join at the expense of Spurs.
Yeah, I think that one sounds nice. I think I'll go for that one. So that one or the last one, but I'll go for that one.
TJ, what are you saying?
I think it's that one as well, yeah. I'm like very certain. I think what happened was we finished in a promotion place, and because it expanded by 2 teams, they invited teams. So it weren't like, so we were like the team that was deemed, I think we was in a relegation zone and we should have stayed up. I think that's what it was actually. I think we was in a relegation zone and the idea that it expanded, we should have stayed up. I think we went down and Arsenal finished 6, I want to say 6, the previous season, and they got invited above us. It was mental. Check it. I'm pretty sure it's something like, because they were like 6 in the league below, and they got invited to join as one of the 2 teams that stayed up, that expanded. And I think we just went down, and people were like, "Why don't we stay?" Or something. And then Arsenal weren't even in like the top 2 or 3 from the Division 2. Am I right? Is that right?
You're both correct. Yeah, you're both correct. That is it. You're both right.
About your answer to.
No, am I right about what league? What year was it? 19. Right, now I am actually looking on Google. 1 second.
Oh, he's on Google. Well, I'll tell you what then.
About 4. T, what you got? About 4 screens?
Yeah, I've got 4, but I'm looking at this one. Right, listen. So I think it was the war, wasn't it? It was the league before the war, 1914-15.
Yeah.
So we got relegated.
Come back.
We got relegated, and I think Arsenal here. There you go. Arsenal finished 5th, not 6th, in the Division 2 on that season. So when it expanded, after the First World War, Arsenal got promoted instead of us staying up. So one team went down back then. We were the team that went down, and Arsenal went above us, even though they finished 5th in the year before it broke for the World War.
Always been constant. Always been constant.
Listen, mate, this is what I do.
Well, I tell you what, you're through there. So now the one that I am going to do is this: is to finish on a League Cup base. You're both still there. I am going to ask you one by one to name the teams that we beat from the 3rd round to the final of that League Cup in 2007-2008. Who we beat on the way. So if I'll ask you both from the 3rd round.
I went to every round of that.
I'm fucked here. I think I only know 1.
Right. So I'm gonna start you, Kev, then. 2008, the 3rd round. Who did we beat?
3rd round. I went to every fucking game. I remember going to every match. I'm gonna say, was it Middlesbrough?
Middlesbrough. TJ, do you agree or disagree?
I promise you now, I've got no idea. I've got absolutely no idea. So no, let's go with what he said. I'll tell you what, Sunderland, just to be different.
The score was 2-0. It was Tottenham 2, and the 0 was to Middlesbrough. That's right. In the 3rd round, it was that. Correct. So in the 4th round, who was it?
Well, how's it go? 3rd, 4th, 5th quarters?
Yeah. No, 5th,
5th, and then semis, yeah.
Yeah, this one's gonna Just can you just tell us if it's home or away?
Home.
Fucking, do you know what? I can't remember this one, but I know I went to it.
I went to this game actually. I did, yeah. Looking at it now.
I ain't got a clue.
Blackburn standing out to me.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to have just a pop. Guess fucking Leicester or something. I can't remember it, but I was there.
The team begins with B, doesn't it? If I say Blackburn, the team must begin with B. Is it Blackpool?
you choose Blackburn, Blackpool.
Might have been Blackpool, you know.
Go on,
Blackpool. It's Blackpool, I think.
Tottenham 2, Blackpool 0.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
Well played.
Yeah. So yeah, right. So what am I doing? Is that a point each? Is that?
Nah, go on. Listen, I'm guessing. Well, I don't actually know. This is purely guesswork.
Well, this is it. I mean, we all know where the
They both went Blackpool, didn't they?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we all know where the semi-finals and the final went, so we're not going to start with that. So it's all down to this: that quarter-final, the one that got us that dream tie against Arsenal for the second year in a row.
I've got a really funny story about this game as well. I'll have to do it.
Oh, so he knows it. So, do you have?
I mean, it was a game where at the end I had to fucking run off because I thought I was going to get.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Yeah, and I ended up hiding in the state. That'd be Man City away.
It will. That's it. Kev is our winner today.
Jamie O'Hara pinged the fucking ball over to Defoe in that game, and it was a great ball. And yeah, that was fucking scenes, mate. It was really, really good.
Defoe and Malbronk. That then
Steed, I love Malbronk. He was such a good player, Steed. Loved him.
Yeah. And we then got a 1-1 draw at the Emirates in the first leg and beaten 5-1 before that glorious day on the 24th of February 2008.
I'll tell you what, mate. You know when you was talking about atmosphere league semi-finals, that 5-1 was fucking pumping.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the roof was fucking shaking. It was that
because we played them the year before in the semi-final, didn't we? It was 2-0 up and drew 2-2. That Baptista scored, and then we lost at their ground in the second leg. We got them 2 years in a row in the semi-final. Yeah. But Kev, you are today's winner, mate.
Was it a draw the first leg?
Yeah, at Emirates in this 2008.
Yeah, and then we beat them 5-1 at home.
That was the one, mate. But yeah, so Kev, you are the champion going on to next week's quiz. We've had a
new year, new me.
Lads, got to give him a head start.
You've got to give a head start. Let's keep positive. Thanks very much today, lads. I hope you enjoy Wednesday night. I really, really hope it goes down well. Be loud. G up everyone around you, and everybody that's been watching and listening. Listen, we have got that rough patch, but like the guys have been saying today, we've got to stay positive. Things are going to turn around. We are going to get our players back. We have seen positives even when it's been quite negative. Keep the faith. We will see you next week. Come on, you Spurs.